full body stretch out. We're starting with our feet, going to work our way up. If you've got a lacrosse ball, if you've got a trigger point release ball, tennis ball, pickleball, that will be effective. It could be a soup can. I know I say this all the time, but even if you don't have a ball, but you have a dumbbell that has round ends to it, you can take your foot and put your foot on the stem of the dumbbell and roll your foot back and forth. Treating the feet is such a necessary component, even if you don't have technically anything wrong with your feet. But I was able to put one of my clients on the swing machine and into the leg gadgets today, and she said, she's like, "What's this?" She's like, "Your stuff is so portable, you know." I show up with a bag essentially of so many things, and part of why people hire me, this is my interpretation of it, is I'm a pretty good read on, you got just another 30 seconds on this foot and then we'll switch sides. So once I get the idea about what somebody's life is like, how stressful it is, how on the go they always are, how by my interpretation, switch feet, they might not be building enough recovery time into their life. As a trainer, my obligation to somebody is to try to offer and find ways to have a more well-rounded approach to the care of oneself, right? And so since I get to spend an hour, right, in my sessions, I don't always do traditional working out. So my client this morning has been on go mode, like overdrive go mode. And so today I was like, well, I'm going to give her a little bit of what she really wants, which is training. And then I'm going to introduce her to these little gadgets of mine in hopes that the few minutes that she spends, get into the gnarly, gristly part, right? The further your foot gets away from your stance leg, the less effective it's going to be. So keep them close together and you'll find that your leverage increases and it will give you a fabulous sensation. All right. So I see my job as allowing myself to help people explore things that would not ordinarily be on their radar, and to also allow them permission, release and relax, permission to step out of go mode when they're with me. Because it seems okay if I'm suggesting, well, let's do this. So she did swing boots and lymphatic stimulation in conjunction with 30 minutes of training, and she walks out of session with a very different aura about her. And now she's going to carry that in through her work that she does today. Grab your chair. But she's starting her day in self-care mode in a way that hasn't beaten her down for the rest of the day where she's tired. Okay. So I'm not certain what's going to be your easiest way to get hold of that little spot at the back of between the two ankle bones, right? And around the underside of the ankle bones. If you have a sofa handy to you, the extra length of that sofa might help for you to put your leg this way, okay? But if this is uncomfortable to you. I've already done this to myself today, and I've squeeze, and like, it's almost like kneading it, right? So I've got my thumb and my index finger pushing into it and pulling away. And because I've already treated it, my first go at it this morning, it was like, yikes, that's tight. And then I went and did something else, which was this. It's crazy, right? And then I went back to it and not as sensitive. So right now, I'm in my third course of treatment for this area. However you can get to it. Maybe you want both hands working under this like crisscross mode so that you can sculpt under the ankles and around the backside. And you don't have to stop at the backside. Let your fingers be their magic hands that you have, and figure out how to draw up the backside of that Achilles tendon. Keep going up your calf. Is anything sensitive as you massage the back of your calf? Maybe it's like, it feels good and I don't have any hot spots, right? But if it's around the ankles, then just stay focused on the ankles. Let your fingers push and pull, because we get like little backups in our lymphatic drainage areas, okay? So we have to stimulate these lymph nodes, and they're all over our bodies, but this happens to be particularly, switch side, a particularly hot spot for me. And I thought, if I'm that sensitive, it can't just be a one-off, right? That maybe you all benefit from it too. Part of it is just figuring out what's the best approach to you maximizing this couple of minutes of where's your leg the most comfortable for you, so you feel like you're not tweaking any other part, but that you can actually really manipulate it. And you just keep seeing me change places because I'm trying to give you ideas. If this isn't suitable for you, then maybe you're here with your leg propped up. And if you're on your sofa, then you've got so much extra support and a base. Let's do 30 more seconds. Get in there. Let those, okay, I may be at a slight advantage because I've already, my body's already warm and I'm already like oiled up. So I've got some gliding action being able to take place. If your skin is dry, it may not work so good for you. Release and relax. And now you should feel like your hands did something. Okay, so we're going to let them be for a minute. All right, push, pull, tuck the foot under, slide the foot out, pull it back. All right, feel okay. Take your hands. Now that your leg is kind of on autopilot, gliding and pushing, let one hand kind of just work around the knuckles, right, of all of the fingers on the other hand. Relax the arm, take hold of it, twist it, and pull it. Move to the next finger, twist it all around, and then get to the end and pull it. Twist it. Maybe you have some little snap, crackle, pops. Twist it. We hold this leg out now. Relax the hands. Take your forward stretch. The thing about our aging body, I'm sorry, I just got myself, leave it. If you've pulled it back like I just did, leave it out. We're going to stay here for a few extra seconds. Arthritis, right? It's kind of one of these things that it's reasonable to think that our body is going to get arthritis. Pull back, switch legs, switch hands. And if you will just remember this, work it, twist it, pull it, move to the next finger, that you can't stop moving because you have discomfort. That's actually the worst thing that you can do for yourself. Okay, because there's a difference between knowing that you're not injured, but that your parts need a little extra love. This is what I consider a little extra love for the body. Taking parts, we didn't do it on the other hand, okay? Take your index and thumb and third finger right into that webbing. Go in there, use your thumb and index, pull, relax your shoulders, take the foot forward, lengthen the leg, keep pulling and squeezing, pinching. Is it sensitive? Get into your little bit of a forward lean. Your hands are kind of getting a workout because you're manipulating yourself. So it's kind of stressful on the hand that's doing the action. Release it. Take your other hand that just got worked, go into the webbing, right? Bear down, let your elbow rest on the knee so you can offload some of the pressure. Get into the meat of that space between your thumb, right on the inside of the thumb. Squeeze and roll. Break up that like gristly, gnarly spot in there and relax. There's only so much we can do, but you can bring a little extra circulation to parts of your body that are hard to get to, right? So next thing, fingers in between the toes. If you're struggling getting your hand to your foot, then what I want you to do is try to build your sit base up a little bit, right? Or if you're like, yeah, I cannot get there, then I want you to go back to rolling your foot with your gadget. And you don't have to stand up for that. Just grab your ball and start rolling your foot again. But if you can work your fingers into your toes, try to pull each toe to its length so that your finger really is up there nice and deep, and then start twisting it. There's no magic. It's not 5 in one direction, 5 in the other. Just make it go like this. So it's going to seem like odd, right? You want to identify where is, and I don't want to use pain, where is the sensation? And when you find the sensation, right, just go, okay, we're only going to do this for a few seconds. This is what I love about our ability to treat our own parts, is that you're monitoring your own threshold. So if you're like in excruciating pain, back away from it. As you administer this to yourself, you can endure or scale back. Are you really sensitive in the space between the toes? Oh, I am. It's crazy. And release. Other side. Our feet do so much for us. And I feel like they get the short end of the stick. Because you all know, okay, right, is that we didn't even get into this last week. We certainly did ankle and foot stuff, and we rolled our feet. I think we might have rolled it once. I roll my feet every day, even if I don't give it to class. Work those fingers, pull each toe, try to encourage the finger to slide deep within the toes. All right. And then start twisting it. But if I don't give it to you in class, how much time goes by since you had your fingers manipulating your little toes? There are things that I try to be super consistent with. So I at least know that a couple of times a week we are addressing our feet. We just don't address it the same way every single time, right? Sometimes it's all about the strengthening of the arches. Today just happens to be all about the flexibility of it, right? Here we go. Work it, work those little toes. Wow. Now, my right foot is so much more sensitive than my left one. All right. So this is going to be our last 30 seconds. With your free hand, can you go to the top of where the toe starts and push it along? Like take your finger, feel that bone. It feels like bone, right? And glide the finger, right, just to the first part of that digit of the toe. Is it sensitive? Those are all part of your extensors. Okay. So now release, relax. You're all done with your feet. Don't touch your face. Okay, here we go. Move your chair. Oh, I had the great fortune of doing my dock workout yesterday, and it was beautiful. And there are a few moves that I do every single time I'm on the dock, and I'm going to give you. We do them together all the time, and I love it. This is like one of these things that we can do every day. Step and pull, release and relax. If your shoulder is not wanting to participate full on with the up, try this. Let the arm extend, bend it, drive the elbow up, pull back. If your arm feels really good, then get it all the way up, hinge on the top. And now you're going to switch legs, okay? So the arm is going to swing up, release, step the opposite leg forward, stretch, pull back, pull forward, stretch, big rocking step. A little bit of balance work is happening here, right? Push. That rock step is transferring your weight, right? On forward stride, you're on tiptoe. I've already taken my back leg and I'm rolling the top of the foot down to help get me even more stretch going. 2 more, inhale. But if that throws you out of balance, then you do what your body can do. And now make this your last one. If you already stepped back, put your legs back into this position because you're going to release the arm. You're going to take your back leg, straighten it. You're going to take your front leg, bend it. And now you should feel like your body is like pushing into the floor. This is a little balance training. And the closer your feet are to tracking maybe the issue if you're really struggling with your balance. You can offset that one a little bit, right? I like mine fairly close. And my back foot, I already know that I need to do a little bit of internal rotation. And here's where the body's going to really be challenged, okay? Your goal is to pull your back body, retract your trunk a little bit, pelvic tilt, bend the front leg, but really make the back leg rigid. We haven't even begun the stretch. Fingers to shoulders, elbows up. Twist the body, and I want you to start lifting the elbows up, twisting, twisting, twisting. Here's where you may be going, man, I wish I had a wall or a chair to hold. If that's your thought, then I want you to move your front leg wider, because if you don't have crabby shoulders, then you're going to fully extend your arms. And the goal is to go slow enough so that you can turn your head and follow your back arm. The more unsteady you feel, I can almost guarantee that your back leg isn't staying stiff and your front leg has probably gone straight. Bend the front leg, straighten the back leg. It is, your brain right now is getting a little bit of confusion because so many elements are happening in just the stance. So we know that spatial disorientation happens when we turn our head, right? And now that we've got this little balance thing going with our legs, you have to decide how wide do you need your feet apart so that as you're going through your rotation, you're not jipping the end range rotation because you feel unsteady. Bring it up, release, relax. Wipe the slate clean. Don't worry. I'll get us going in the right way on the next leg. Okay. Shake it out. You get another shot at it. Okay. So you're going to start with the other arm, same arm and leg, because that's how we started on the other side. You're testing out the shoulder, right? Up, pat yourself on the back, let the arm sweep back. Step forward, pat yourself, the arm and the hip open back. Like as you step back and this arm extends, it's like you're passing something off to somebody, right? Forward, up, and reach. All right. Once you come back, close the gap between the feet, because now it's going to be opposite leg to the swinging arm. Step, pull back. All right. So if your arm doesn't want the extension on the forward step lift, then just go hand to finger like you're doing a bicep curl and elbow high. If everything about this is feeling fluid and you're like, wow, this is such a great stretch, can you take the trailing foot and roll the toes, right? So you get a little bit of a push down on the top of the foot. You got about 4 more. It's going to cause you to pose right there, which making your body stop is all part of a skill. Push back. You've got 1 more. Stop on the front. Squeeze the bun. Push back. Stop. Now, here's your stop position. Actually, my apologies. Your stop position, in order to get the other side in the right spot, needs to be with the trailing leg stepping forward. Whew. All right, you're deciding how wide do you need your foot? What's your back foot doing? Before you decide where you want your front leg, look down. Is the trailing leg swiveled out? Slightly pigeon toe it, and then work it in line. Okay, or not. Root the heels to the floor. Feel yourself tighten up your bun. Squeeze belly to spine. Really stiff trailing leg. If you didn't do anything more than this would still be something, right? But let's go. Now, on the other side, we did reverse motion. So now we're going to make the shoulders go the other way. And just start letting your body have like this little, it's okay to feel the legs not really certain. That's okay. That's part of your work. So we're giving part of our body work while the other part gets to stretch. And now if everything's okay, start lengthening the arms, right? You're trying to rotate and swivel the head, come around, go with the back arm, and here's where you have to put yourself in check, okay? Squeeze the bun on the back leg, all right? If you're feeling really unsteady, move your front leg wider, all right? Really bend the front leg. Exaggerate your stiff trailing leg, pinching the bun. And there's a point here where as the head turns to look at the back arm, are you stopping yourself short of your full neck rotation because of a balance issue? Or are you able to turn your head and look at the back hand, right? If you fall out of it, it's okay. You're only going to be doing 2 more. Try to put yourself back into it. This next one's your last one. Can you turn your head all the way back? Oh, and relax. So your quads and your glute and your spinal, right? That whole thing about getting you rotated just got into play. So now we do our swivels. Little light tapping. Let the shoulders relax. Your neck is long. Swivel. All of this hip, ankle, right? Ankle, knee, hip, shoulders, everything comes around. Okay. You can stay as high and tight as you want to, or you can get a little bit more expressive with your move so that you're overly rotating beyond your 180 degrees, and you're able to do that because you draw down. So now you decide if you don't have any crabby hips and knees, right? You just bring it around. Turn the head, turn the head, turn the head with the arms. Wow. The hands are still lightly connecting with the hips, right? Swivel. As the body comes around, like you might have to work the arms out a little bit just to help you stabilize since we're going so slow. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, exhale. Release and relax. The goal is to try to move our body every which way we can, because our flexibility doesn't just have to be with us laying down on the floor doing a hamstring stretch, right? Close the gap. You get as low as you want to go. Just bending your legs, drawing the knees together may be enough, but I'm going to give you side. Okay. So push. Here we go. So you're just holding your bent leg position. The arms are like cleaning off this table, right? Swishing from side to side. And now when you get to one side, I want you to arc up, squish the knees together, bend the legs, look at the hands, push them away from you, bring the arms around, clear off the table, don't come up, go to the other side, clear off the table, arc up and around, squeeze the buns, pull around, sweep off the table. Come back. Your body is kind of contorting itself. Arc up, bend the legs, squeeze the knees together. This is your last one. Sweep to the side. This is the side you're going to come up on. Arc up, bring it around, come to the front, release and relax. All right, now maybe a little drink. All of that stuff, twisting, all of that, right? You have these muscles that run parallel to the spine. We don't just have to be doing deadlifts to hit these erectors. So all of that gets you doing QL work. You should feel like you have fired up these muscles back here. You haven't done anything wrong. We will static stretch them now that they've done a little work for us. So before you throw yourself down on the floor, mat, towel, pillow, stretch out strap. All right. We are going to be doing the quad and hip flexor stretch. So you will need your stretch out strap if you can't easily get your hand to your foot. Okay, my towel, a little drink maybe. Okay. So while I was at my mom's, my mom, well, actually, let's go way back. A few years back, my sister comes to stay with us for a few days, and she brings her collagen that she puts in her coffee. I was like, ooh. And she's like, oh, she's like, you should try it. She's like, you don't even taste it. And collagen is like really good for you. It's funny how certain things are on my radar. And like, Of course, I had heard the word collagen peptides, but never desired to figure out what that actually meant. The treat is the stretch, right? So you just did all of that contorting your body to get into this next feel good stretch. If we had a line on the floor from hip straight out from the body, you want the hand to be on that same line. All right. It needs to be a little bit away from you so that you can get your shoulder depressed. The feet are a little bit opened up away from the bum. They don't have to be tightly back. But what does need to happen is this hip on the high side that tends to want to open back. We're going to stack the parts. So as soon as you push that arm into the floor, hand down, I want you to try to twist that top hip towards the mat. That should be all you have to do to feel the underside get it stretch. Again, unless I'm just overly tight everywhere, the things that I break down to you, my hope is that as you do the little change, you're like, oh, that does make a difference. There's one more thing. So now we've got shoulder depression, the trunk is long, the hips are stacked. Give me just a little bit of your pelvic tilt. Did something happen? Did for me. And that was probably 30 seconds of a stretch. So release, swivel the legs to the other side. So being curious about things, when my sister's like, oh, just stir it into your coffee, you won't taste it. Sure enough, I stirred it into my coffee. It ruined my cup of coffee. So I wrote it off. Was like, who needs that? I don't want to ruin my coffee. Meanwhile, it can be put in anything, but that's how short-sighted I was, right? Push the hand into the floor, do a few of your depressions. So that was a few years back. My mom, right, has collagen peptides in her cabinet. And she's like, oh yeah, I just boil my, water and I put it in my lemon water. So where are we? Hand, hip, push, belly, do a top hip rotating to the floor, which if your knees are not wanting to stay on the down, you must push them to the floor because that's the only way to get stacked. And now zip in a little bit. Just keep your length. This is just static hold stretch. You're in a little bit of pelvic tilt, and absolutely you are in shoulder depression. So while I was there, I started doing the collagen in my lemon water. And it's kind of a treat in a way. So I've gone through one bottle. I don't know if it's doing me any good. Release and relax. Flip back to the other side. And so I went back to the store to get another bottle. And I accidentally bought chocolate flavored collagen, and I just couldn't bring myself to even try it. So I had to take it back to the store. You ready? Internal and external hip rotation. Lean onto the elbow. Stretch the arm. I'm going to keep telling you this. If your shoulders are less than cooperative, just put your hand on the shoulder. Because watch, you don't have to go any further. You don't have to drive the stretch. One of these times, if we spend enough time taking precaution, then sooner or later, you probably will be able to get to full range of motion and be like, oh, wow, that's such a great stretch. But if your shoulders don't want to go, you can still maximize the stretch. You just get to contort your body a little bit, right? So the lengthened arm intensifies the stretch. But if I'm going to keep both of my arms bent, I'm going to pull them into me and I'm going to try to lean towards that back leg. We are building on to this one, all right? So when we come up, we're going to take this folded back leg, pick up the knee. Oh, external hip rotation. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be pretty. You're going to slide the leg out and tip towards it. Fold it back in. It just, the body gets to like find a rhythm, whereas you lean to the floor, the leg bends. As you come up, the knee lifts up and then the foot glides. 2 more here, right? Start folding it back, sweeping it back. It doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't even have to be fluid. As a matter of fact, it's not going to be fluid until the joints learn this new space that they can function in, right? And if you're running into your mat like I am, this is your last one every time as I pull my foot back, right? Then as I go to do my next leg, I'm going to know, pay a little more attention, release and relax, swivel around to the other side so that I'm not hanging off my mat. All right. So if you want to run the test, when you extend your leg, your foot shouldn't be hanging off your mat, or every time you go to pull the foot back, you'll catch on your mat. Ready? I'm saying this because I forgot to say it on the other leg. And yet, if you have your little wedge, if you're really like crimped up and feel like your body is laying itself over to the side because you can't sit up without massive cramping going on, then you need to build your sit base a little bit. Just putting something, that shim, I call it a shim, right? Just having a little bit of a shim under you will free you up. Do the first couple without the leg extending. Let your body figure out this space. These are absolutely my favorite stretches. I love how many things can be done from here, right? I could build a whole class literally from this position, and I would run out of time before I ran out of things to do, because we can sequence things so it's fluid. That's the beauty of why I don't skip on my training on the weekends, because it allows me, okay, so after we come out of this one, it allows me to just take all of these things that we do during the week and I put them all together, and it's like I'm out there having a little dance class by myself because it's slow and rhythmic. I'm listening to music that soothes me. I'm out in the elements, listening to the birds, looking at the water. I mean, I never want to come in. I have to stop myself before I'm actually done, because it's like, oh, an hour and a half has passed. I don't have the whole day, right? So I put limits on myself based on the fact that I have somebody else in my life and we need to like do some fun things together. Push, pull, push, pull. But that's because I'm not out jumping rope and doing burpees and mountain climbers. It's because I'm doing stuff like this. This next extension is your last one, right? Push into it, release, and relax. All right, now for what we came for. We're going to do some of our shoulder circumduction from a lying position, which is then going to take us into our opening and closing of the book. And then we'll get into the flossing of the nerve and the leg glides for quad and hamstring. So how much head support do you need? It needs to be so that when you're down, your head isn't cockeyed. Okay, so if you're looking at the screen, this is wrong. And if I had too much pillow, it would be putting me cockeyed in the other way. So this towel, even folded up, is not enough. Ah, you want to feel neutral. Okay, situate yourself so that your legs are pulled up. All right, shoulders are stacked. If you turn your head up and look at your hand, I'm so okay with that, right? Just find a comfortable spot for your neck. Just the goal here is for you to identify where are your shoulders in relation to your ears. Pull them away from your ears. All right. And now start that arm circle. You're doing small circle and then you're going, everything feels so great. So you get to go bigger circle. So much so that maybe you're able to take the arm all the way over the head. And at some point, as it's on its back sweep, maybe it hits the floor. I don't know. What does that feel like for you? You'll know if that's a good or bad range for you. And since the circle gets bigger, right, the more limber your shoulder is, you might be going really slow like I am. This is the beauty of being able to scale and back out of your movement based on knowing that you do not want to feel pinching, biting, clicking. None of that should exist right now. And now we'll say that's at least our 10 to 12. Bring the arm back up to its start position. Reverse your circle, start small, slowly graduate the size of the circle. Are you remembering that you can put your hand on your shoulder and let your elbow drive that circle? Right? This is why I repeat a lot of this. What you can do is so that it's like, oh yeah, I forgot, right? It's easy to forget how to scale back. And then what happens is you kind of teach yourself to expect the pain and just endure it. That is not what we want our bodies to feel. Okay. Do one more circle. All right. So before we switch sides, reach both arms perpendicular to the body. Your head does not get to stay on its pillow the entire time. Gently lift the head from the pillow. Look at your hand. Let the top hand glide beyond the bottom hand. Your head's still off the pillow, but it's neutral. We're not holding it cocked up. You're just grazing it off the pillow. The hand slides. At some point, you're going to feel like you can put your head back down, pulling your shoulder blade to the floor. Open up that chest towards the ceiling. And then if you're able, open up the arm to its T position. Rebend the arm, let it glide across the body. As it starts reaching down the length of the other arm, pick up the head, reach beyond the hand, pull it back, turning the head. You're also in chin tuck so that your cervical spine is where it needs to be. We're gonna do 5. So this is the end of 2. All right. All right. So as the arm is coming across your body, right? Set the back of the head down. Before you go to extend the arm, I want you to get your shoulder out of the ear and turn your head and try to look at your elbow. If your arm doesn't get really close to the floor before you extend it, then you shouldn't be straightening your arm because your shoulder's in the wrong spot. I want you to feel your elbow, the back of that elbow touch the floor before you extend your arm. And now This little bit of lifting of the head while we're in the glide process, you are strengthening your neck muscles. Tuck your chin, pull it back, set it back down on your pillow, get your shoulder blade pulling towards the floor and then the elbow touching the floor, and extend the arm if you can. Oh, and there's just one more thing, as if that's not enough. This is our 5th one, and we're going to stay in our open position for a few extra seconds. So set the head back, get the shoulders pulling away from the ears. Can you get your elbow to find the floor? What if your elbow finds the floor, but in the process of that rotation, both knees kind of lift up to compensate for your back? Put the knees down first and just hold it here. Don't keep fighting to try to get your elbow down. Just allow your spine to find a comfortable rest position, holding for 5, 4. If you're looking behind you, say your eyes are staring up at the ceiling and then slightly back. You know what I know you're not doing? You're not in your cervical spine chin tuck position. That means you're crimping your neck. And now relax the arm. And can I just take it one step further? If your neck is crimped, chances are your shoulders are rocked up too in the wrong spot. So there's no way that you're ever going to get your upper back in its flattened open position if the neck is also in the wrong spot. All right, stay on this side. Do you have your little stretch out strap? Of course, mine's at the opposite end. So if your stretch out strap is at your opposite end, take a second, get it, right? Resituate yourself. You are going to strap the top leg. Okay. So as your little refresher, you've got all this extra strap. You're going to try not to smack yourself in the face with it. The leg is level. Guide that leg back and then anchor the strap over the shoulder. Ah, is that not just fabulous? Release the leg. Take the strap. Start swinging the leg forward. Use your bottom arm too to help eat up some of the strap so that you can get your stretching leg to the other end so that you're getting hamstring. Let out the strap. It's just a little coordinated action with an accessory. So if you're finding that your accessory is leaving you all like frustrated, slow it down. You just haven't learned how to maneuver with this extra thing. So pull it in, look at your foot. Hopefully it's like level. Push the heel away from you. Release. It glides right through the hand. That top arm guides it back. And then once you get it anchored over your shoulder, we're going to stay here for a moment. Pull your belly button in nice and tight. Squeeze your bum. Try to make sure that this stretching knee isn't piked up. We want it level. That's all part of the tracking. Got one more. Sweep it forward. Pull on it, pull on it, pull on it. You're looking at your foot. You're pulling that leg. Push the heel away from you. Even if the leg isn't straight, you're still feeling it. I know you are. All right. Swing it back. This is the one we came for. So anchor it. Now, I may have just shut this thing off. Don't know if I did. I'm going to push a button and see. Hopefully I'm back. This is why I hate to lay on a pillow. All right. So since this is the one we came for, if you can use your bottom hand to hold the strap, freeze up the top hand, how close are you to getting hold of that foot? There's something about getting your hand to your foot that will intensify your stretch. More intensity isn't necessary, right? Unless your body is telling you, I could go a little further. And if that's the case, get your hand to your foot, but don't feel like you're getting a less than stretch if you're fighting that aspect, because it requires a really tight knee position here, right? Release, swing it around to the front, pull on it. This is our last one. So now stay with me. Can you take the bottom hand and hold the strap, and then take the top arm, twist your upper body so that your upper body is squared to the ceiling, and just get yourself opened up. You can let out as much strap as you need to make your leg comfortable. You don't have to hold yourself so tight unless your body says, wow, that's phenomenal. Release and relax. All right, push yourself up. We just did a lot on that side. So are you ready? We're flipping over. If you don't recall what we started with, we're doing our shoulder circumduction, which are those big circles. So get your pillow. All right. Set yourself up. Your legs are going to be nice and bent. You want to feel as neutral of a head position as you can get. The arm is high. Stare at your hand or look forward wherever you're most comfortable. Start your small little circles. You're going to do 10 to 15 circles. If I get lost in thought, then, we might do a few more, but we'll stay focused. All right. Can you go ahead and slide your shoulder blades down and do your arm circle, right? So as your arm circle gets bigger, you're like, yeah, but I can't keep my shoulder down when my arm is coming into this ginormous circle. You're right. But when it comes through the back end of its circle, at some point you should feel like you can track those shoulders down. And if you're able to do that, if you're able to go, okay, can I slide my shoulder away from my ear? Guess what you should feel? You should feel a stretch in the chest, that connection that's really close to the front head of the shoulder, but high into that chest wall. You won't feel that if your shoulder stays up by your ear, because you'll feel a pinch and that won't feel good. Now, say that's our 10 to 12, bring the arm up, start with your small circles. And the beauty of this is that knowing that you can only glide your shoulder blades down when the arm is at its widest pulling position from the torso, right? As that arm comes around the front, you can't get the shoulder blade down. It's only when it opens up that you can go, okay, pull it down. Do about 3 more. Your arm does not need to stay stiff. And as a matter of fact, if you allow the elbow to have a little softness to it, it will probably give you better control of what your shoulder blades should be doing. Do 1 more big circle. All right, ready to open and close the book? So here we go. Arms are perpendicular to the body. Pick up the head, look at your hand, glide the hand, pull it back. Let's tuck our chin. So we're in cervical spine. The chin is tucked and we're turning the head to get the back of the head flat to the floor. The arm, you're going to turn your head and see if you can follow your elbow. How close is that elbow getting to the floor? Release it, come back. I think for most of us, unless you're hypermobile, chin tucks, pull the neck back to the pillow,
right? Keep turning the head so you're following your arm. Get your shoulder out of the ear. So unless you're hypermobile, you might not even get your elbow close to the floor. The closer the elbow gets to the floor, the better. When you go to extend the arm, if that's what you're opting for, right? Then if you get your elbow close to the floor before you extend your arm, it should eliminate shoulder distress. But if your arm is really high and hanging, that probably is because your shoulder's in the wrong angle. And then that extended arm will actually make you feel like you're doing something bad to your shoulder. So this is why I want you to go through the process with me. Tuck the chin as your hand slides across the chest, pull the neck and head to the pillow, turn your head so you're looking at your stretching arm. And before you get fully committed with the action of you trying to get your elbow to the floor, pull your shoulders away from your ears and then try to get your elbow to the floor. Now, from your right to left side, this might be your tight side. You've got one more stretch. This, as we go into the open position, this is the one we're going to hold for a little bit longer. So tucking chin, the neck and the head find the floor. You keep turning your head. Look at your elbow. Pull the shoulder away from the ear, right? Open the arm if you can. Just taking your head through its fuller range of motion. You know, if you stopped your head rotation and you're staring at the ceiling, that's fine. But if you can turn your head and look the direction of your arm, it's so much more of a stretch. Okay, ready? Relax out of it. Find your stretch out strap. Lasso the top foot. This is our grand finale, right? You've got the two aspects of quad and hamstring. Navigate your space, hook that strap. Even if you're using one of those big master bands, right? I love the big resist-bands for this. All right. It is a slightly different stretch. Even though the mechanics are all the same, there's something about that resistance strap that feels so good to me. So once you get your leg slung back and the strap anchored over the shoulder, let's make sure we go into pelvic tilt and sliding the knee a little bit lower than you think it should be, right? Here we go. Open it up. Use those hands. Pull, pull, pull the leg through. Flex the foot, even if your leg isn't straight. At some point, when you start pushing that leg back to its length, right? Activate the quad, and then the leg bends. All right. Squeeze the bun. Level the knee. Stretch it forward. Walk it out. Pull on the strap. Pull on the strap. Oh. Massive amount of stretch. You're going to do one more, and then we're going to get to the holding phase on that quadricep stretch. All right. Pull it through. Wow. Releasing. Okay, so now get yourself settled in. You decide if you want the next level of stretch, because if you do, you're going to go bottom hand is holding the strap. You can pull your knee forward if that helps for you to get your foot, and then rock the leg back. And oh, by the way, if you do opt for hand to foot position, please don't forget you need to be able to reset your pelvic tilt. That is a crucial component to this. A few more seconds. There's one more level that we can do here, but we're not going to do it today. Release. All right, so where are we going? We're finishing with our hamstring extension. Push the leg forward. It doesn't have to be way up here, Okay, wherever forward is comfortable for you. You're going to take your strap to the bottom hand. Your top arm is going to go to rotated upper back position. Try to get your trunk squared up to the ceiling, and then the arms open to their T line. Shoulders are pulling down from the ears. And you're just hanging out here for a count of 5, 4. Flex the foot that's in that strap. 3, 2. Release the ankle, soften the knee, let your body relax. Come to your side sit. We're going to work ourselves up. Now, if you don't want to kneel, then just tell yourself, get up. But if you want a cat back, sway back stretch, come on to hands and knees. We'll only be here for a moment. Just get the hands close enough to the knees so that you can get this good push, chin to chest, eyes open. Press the tops of the feet to the floor and push the heels of the hands into the floor to get your highest rounded spine. And then slowly release it. Now, to go to downward dog, you need to separate your parts a little bit. It helps, all right? And maybe if your wrists don't want to do so much work, go into knuckles, pop back to your feet. Don't roll up until you're balanced on your feet. You shouldn't need your hands. I want you to have the strength of your legs, chin to chest, rounded spine. Elbows can help walk up the thighs to get you up to your rise. Raise the arms, lift and breathe. Squeeze your buns, release and relax. Whew. You are free to roam.